Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello everyone. In my new column for ThePrint, I look at the nationalist backlash against foreign companies in China. In this column, I explore two aspects of this story. The first is the social media campaign against foreign companies that operate in China. And the second aspect is the comparison between 2019 boycott of foreign brands during the Hong Kong protest versus the 2021 boycott of the foreign brands in China. The parallel between Hong Kong and 2020 protest, the first aspect of social media propaganda campaign against the foreign brands is not something new. We've seen this before during the 2019 Hong Kong boycott of foreign brands who had sided with the protesters during the protest movement. And something similar is going on once again in 2021, where the propaganda department of the Communist Party has brought out celebrities and these influencers who are known to shape the narrative in China. These influencers are often used to shape the narrative around government's policies, and especially in this context, the issue of Xinjiang is close to the Communist Party's policy for the region. So I would say the party has extensively used these influencers, and they will continue to do that whenever they find themselves in a hard place. Some of the brands have even lost their brand ambassadors, but again, this is not something new. There's a whole history to it when it comes to the backlash against foreign companies that criticize the party's policies. The second aspect, which is the comparison between Hong Kong movement and what's going on right now, is really interesting because there was a revelation in Wall Street Journal in which a source has revealed that the propaganda department of the party hopes to repeat the success of the pushback against the brands in Hong Kong during 2019. I was not personally surprised by that because the sort of campaign that we've seen on Weibo and WeChat looks quite similar to what happened in 2019. But I would say the propaganda department was quite successful when it comes to pushing back against the NBA team Houston Rockets. The games of NBA were banned from China for almost 1 year, and eventually the games were resumed, and now the relationship between the National Basketball Association and China seems to be back to what it used to be before they found themselves in this crisis. So I would say that China has been quite successful when it comes to pushing back against these foreign brands, and they are trying to repeat what they did during 2019. The other aspect of this story is a new statement by H&M. In this statement, H&M does not even mention Xinjiang. They don't even say how H&M will push back against the Chinese government and address the issue of forced labor in their supply chain. But I would also say that this time around, it would not be easy for the foreign companies because there is a new law in the US where the US Customs can stop any shipment of clothing which has connections to Xinjiang. And this particular law could complicate the sort of damage control that H&M and other brands might try to do. So I would say this story continues to develop, and we should keep an eye on how these brands will address the issue. And there is quite a bit of interest in pushing back against the Chinese government and its human rights violations in Xinjiang. One of the interesting aspects that came up during the story is a French journalist who has been writing articles for CGTN, and apparently this French journalist does not even exist. Chinese state media has claimed that she lives in Xinjiang and she's actually seen how things are in Xinjiang, and the articles reflect the reality. But the French newspaper Le Monde dug into this French journalist articles, and they found that the journalist actually does not exist. There is no trail on social media. She did have a social media handle on Twitter, but it's not available anymore.